What is going on YouTube? Joe here with Culination Media and welcome back for the third and final part of our live Pokemon Showdown RU Suspect test session for Reuniclus and Noivern. We only have Reuniclus on the team, of course, but I've been enjoying using this team so far. The times that I have run into Noivern, we haven't had too much trouble with it, despite some people saying that the team was very Noivern weak. Audino actually handles it very well, even though it's physically defensive. So yeah, it has to be choice specs to even have a chance to hit KO me with Hurricane. So that's pretty cool, I guess, but we're getting into our first battle here, and no Bayonet! Yes! That's a victory in my book right there. Not a win for the battle, but just like a moral victory that we don't have to go up against another Bayonet, because they're honestly extremely annoying. And I've just been running into them constantly. So I'm actually going to lead off with Delphox, and I guess nobody leads off with Registeel anymore, but I'm fine with that because I'm expecting him to still want to switch out and not get hit with a Fire Blast right here. So I'm going to go for it anyway. I should have gone for Psychic, actually. Now that I think about it, that was a bad play. Because if he's lead Excelgor, he could be Focus Sash, so there's a chance I would just miss the Fire Blast there anyway. And there was no way he was going to go into Registeel, and if he did, and I hit it with a Psychic, I could just Fire Blast it the following turn. So there's really no reason for me to go for Fire Blast there at all. I'm going to substitute here in case he wants to Stealth Rock, and he's just going to go the straight attacking set with Earth Power. So I'm fine with that. I'm going to have to switch, though, and I'm probably going to have to ultimately sack something to this, because Mega Camerupt is ridiculous. Its damage output is just insane. Now, I should be able to take one hit and then force him out with Seismitoad. So Earth Power does 64%. Granted, I'm not specially defensive, so I'm not expecting to be able to take that too well. I'm expecting him to want to switch here, so I'm going to go for a Stealth Rock. And he is indeed going to switch out into his Excelgor. So we get a little bit of Lefty's recovery. That's not going to save us from another Earth Power when I switch in, but I'll probably just use Seismitoad as fodder later on, to be honest. So what I'm going to do here is actually predict an Energy Ball and go into Skuntank. Because good old PU the Skuntank, he should be able to take that very, very nicely because I am specially defensive. And yes, that does 11%. And after the Black Sludge, we're back at 95. So now I can taunt. If he wants to, stay in and go for spikes, we can limit him to one layer of spikes. And if he wants to switch something else in, like Registeel or Camerupt, at least they can't Stealth Rock. So that's something. And if he wanted to switch in like Golbat, then he would not be able to defog as well. So, although the only reason I really have Stealth Rock up is for Excelgor and Golbat, everything else doesn't really care about it. But if we just keep it up for a few turns, that's really all that matters. So what I'm going to do is sacrifice Cedric here, and that's going to allow me to get a safe switch into Doug, the Doug Trio, to trap this thing. There's no way he's taking an EQ from a Life Orb Doug Trio from that range. He most definitely could, or not most definitely, but he most likely could from full HP, but I don't think from about 50% he's going to be able to take that. So we get rid of Camerupt, especially not when we get a critical hit. I do not think that really mattered, but I don't know. What do I know? It could have mattered, who knows? But he's going to take this opportunity to go into his Excelgor, and I'm going to make the exact same play that I did last time, I think, because I don't really have any other safe switch-ins. So I'm going into Skuntank again as he once again fires off an Energy Ball. But yeah, that does nothing. So we're back to 95%, and I'm going to taunt again. So as he's going to switch yet again and go into Registeel. So I'm fine with that because I do still have my Delphox alive and he cannot T-Wave here. He can't set up Stealth Rock either. Actually, I could go into Doug Trio to try to trap this thing. Might want to do that. Especially if he goes for Seismic Toss, I can at least get a buttload of damage off. Actually, he's going to switch into Golbat. Okay, that's not what I wanted him to do. I kind of thought he would stay in there. But what do I know? Okay, I don't think I want to stay in here. This is not a good matchup for me. Unfortunately, that means he's going to get a Defog off. But at least he had to take the 25% or 24%. Actually, he might Roost. There's a possibility of him roosting too. I'm tempted to go for Earthquake to see how much it does, so we can get an idea on whether this is physically defensive or specially defensive, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take this opportunity to go right into Delphox, and he does indeed fire off a Delphox. So our Stealth Rocks are gone, and they're gone for good because Cedric was sacrificed. But, you know, we got some chip damage off on some things, and that's pretty nice. Now, he doesn't have a switch into Fire Blast. But I'm also going to just go for Substitute because he pretty much had to switch there. He wasn't going to stay in and take a Psychic. So now he's got Furfrou here, and I'm going to Calm Mind on this. Now, if this is physically defensive, +1 Fire Blast might just be enough to take it out, to be honest. Furfrou does not take hits very well on the specially defensive side unless it's invested. So it could be invested for all I know, as that's a critical hit that does 93% and he just takes me out with a return. That was definitely invested because that would have done, what, like 50-ish percent? A little over 50, I don't know, somewhere in that range. Jeez. Wow, he took that exceptionally well. So the critical hit really does help me out there. That's kind of unfortunate. I mean, it's also kind of unfortunate that I just sacrificed my Delphox. But I, of all people, should know the power of Furfrou. Or not power, just fatness, basically. It's stupid fat. So I'm going to go for Sucker Punch here because I know Furfrou can carry Sucker Punch of its own, and that would probably do a lot of damage even though that is defensive Furfrou, just because the trio's, you know, silly frail. And so he's going to go into his Scrafty here, and I have a relatively safe check with my Audino here, but I don't necessarily want to switch that straight in on a Drain Punch. So what I'm going to do is... I would like to get that in on a knockoff. So the best way for me to do that is to go into Reuniclus first, predicting a Drain Punch, and then pivot out into my Audino, because then he'll want to go for knockoff. I mean, he could go for like Dragon Dance or Bulk Up too. And I mean, that would be nice if I can get a safe switch into my Reuniclus, but I do have the Regenerator anyway, so I would get most of that HP back. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go into Reuniclus, and he does in fact go for the Bulk Up. Now, he might be scared of... No, he won't be scared. There's no reason for Scrafty to be scared of a Focus Blast. I don't think that would even kill. And because he's Bulk Up, he's probably specially defensive, so he's probably not too worried. But regardless, I'm expecting a knockoff here, so we're using this switch as a pivot into our Audino, and that knockoff at +1 does 21%, and that's before Mega Evolution too, which is just stupid. Now, I don't want him playing around wishes with, you know, extra boosts, so I'm just going to immediately fire off a Dazzling Gleam as he goes for High Jump Kick. That does 31%. Are you kidding me? That is stab at +1, a 130 base power move that's neutral, 31%. That is dumb. That is ridiculous. Now, we also have to take that with a grain of salt because a lot of Bulk Up users, especially Scrafty, just won't invest in their attack at all. They'll just be completely specially defensive and then rely on the boost for power. But still, come on now, +1, that's craziness. So he's going to go into his Excelgor, he's going to go for Sludge Bomb, and that does 31%, and we're able to get our wish back there. I don't know what this is going to want to do. He's probably going to Roost here. I could use this as a safe switch into my Reuniclus, but then he's just going to go right into his Registeel. I could double to trap the Registeel and get off as much damage as possible before it kills me, because I don't think one Earthquake is going to be enough. But I'm just going to throw up another wish here, as he does in fact go for the Roost. So he's got Roost, Defog. What else do you have? Super Fang? Toxic maybe? If you Toxic, I'm just going to Heal Bell, so I'm not worried about that. But I'm going to Protect to see what he goes for. And it is in fact going to be the Super Fang. So something's going to have to take 50%. Now, my Reuniclus does have the Regenerator, and I don't think he can kill me even if he does Super Fang me. Yeah, so I can use that as bait for Registeel to come out. And then get that Regenerator back, and then, you know, be in a good position to take out his Golbat later on. Because I definitely need Reuniclus. I cannot sacrifice it, otherwise I have no way to beat Golbat. Because Audino is definitely not going to do the trick, and I don't think that either my other Pokemon will either. So he's going to go for Super Fang here, and that'll take me down to half. And as much as I want to click Psychic, that's not going to do jack to Registeel. So I really think that my best possible play here is to try to trap that thing. So I'm going to go out into Doug, and he does not switch. He goes for a U-turn. Okay, he has the U-turn. Very nice. Very nice indeed. And of course, he's not going to go out into Registeel now. He's going to go out into this thing. I still have my Skuntank, though. And what I can do is Pursuit Trap you now. So you're going to go for Energy Ball again. That does nothing. Unfortunately for me, he does get the Spadef drop, which means Bug Buzz is probably going to do about half, maybe a little bit more. But I'm going to Pursuit Trap. Oh, you are going to stay in. Okay. Fair enough, my friend. That still does 45% because I am adamant and close to max attack. But since you're not switching, I'm just going to go for Sucker Punch. So yeah, you're gone. I get a little bit more Black Sledge recovery. Although it doesn't matter because I don't need this thing anymore. He's going to go out into Registeel. I'm just going to taunt this because I don't... You're going to do something silly. Yeah, you're going to try... Why are you Stealth Rocking? Nothing on my team cares about Stealth Rock at this point, so I'm not sure why he did that. But this also prevents him from going for things like Thunder Wave. So I'm expecting him to want to switch? No? Okay. So he's just going to go for Explosion. Fair enough. I probably should have Sucker Punched there because there's no way he was going into Registeel just to go for Stealth Rock. So that's going to be the game now because he sacrificed his Registeel to get rid of my Skuntank, which I didn't need anyway. And that gives me a safe switch into my Reuniclus to just fire off a Choice Spec Psychic, and there's no way Golbat is taking that, even if it's specially defensive. So we get the win there, and we can move on to our next battle because we are only about 12 minutes in. I feel like this is just a fast-paced video. I don't know. Like, normally the Showdown videos are like very slow-paced. I take a long time to think about my moves, and I talk a lot. Probably way more than I should. Probably gets annoying sometimes, but I feel like things are moving along a little bit more quickly this time. I don't know. Who knows? So he's actually going to lead off with Delphox here. What I noticed at Team Preview immediately was that outside of this Delphox, my Audino actually poops on a lot of his team. Flygon, Hitmonlee, and Scrafty all lose to Mega Audino. So we want to keep her healthy at all costs. So I'm going to make the switch into my Seismitoad here on a predicted Flamethrower Fire Blast, which he does go for. And what I want to do here is because he's Life Orb, he could have the Grass Knot. So I want to scout for that. And I'm going to make the play into my Skuntank, as he does, in fact, have the Grass Knot, and he goes for it. And what I can do now is just Pursuit Trap him, because if he goes for Fire Blast, that's not going to kill me, because I have a lot of special defense investment. If he tries to switch, he's dead. And it turns out that he tries to switch, so Delphox is removed. So that is fantastic. That was a good example of how to play around Delphox in 3 turns. There you go. I wasn't expecting it to go as well as it did, but he did everything I wanted him to. Played right into my hand, I guess you could say. So now he's going to go out into his Flygon, the shiny Flygon. I don't know how I feel about the shiny Flygon. I think I like the regular better. But I'm not afraid of this. Physically defensive Audino can take care of it. So I'm going to go right into that. And he does go for the EQ. That does 22%. Wow. Audino, Audrey, you fat sack of... I don't know what you are. You're just fat. I mean, I love you. You're awesome. But you're fat. So he's going to U-turn out, revealing that he is not choiced. So I don't know what this thing is. But I'm assuming he's going to go out into Jellicent? No, Hitmonlee as I throw up a Wish. I don't know why you would go into this. High Jump Kick is never going to kill me. And yeah, that only does 40%. Meanwhile, Dazzling Gleam does over half, and I get my recovery back. I could Wish again, because he can't even kill me with a crit, but he's just going to forfeit because he realizes that Audino is super fat and will kill half his team. And there's really nothing he could do about it at that point. And losing Delphox was kind of big for him because it does take on quite a bit of my team. So he just forfeits, and we're getting into another one. This is moving quickly. It is. It's not just me. It is moving along quite quickly. This is a very slow team. Wow. He's got Noivern and then a bunch of very slow things. So he's going to lead off with his Bayonet here. I'm going to taunt this immediately. He doesn't get Prankster this turn. If he switches, I'm fine with that. He's actually going to go into the Druddigon. which means he still hasn't gotten his Mega Evolution off with the Bayonet, which is good. Man, another Bayonet. I'm so tired of seeing these things. But I should be playing a different tier because this is the tier of Bayonet. I'm expecting a Dragon Tail here, so I'll switch out into Audrey. And that is exactly what he goes for because he cannot Stealth Rock. That does tell me that he's most likely defensive. Probably specially defensive, to be honest. I could Psychic here. He doesn't really have much that wants to switch in on that, so I am just going to Psychic as he does go into Electros. We get a critical hit on that, which is a bit unfortunate. That is definitely Assault Vest damage if 47% is a crit. I'm expecting him to want to go for a knockoff here. Either that, or if he wants to make a prediction, I guess he would want to predict possibly my Seismitoad to try to block a Volt Switch, and he might go for Giga Drain. That's not going to do anything. So we will see. After a Calm Mind, though, a Fire Blast, judging by how much Psychic did, should be enough to take him out. And he doesn't have a switch into a Fire Blast at +1. Noivern is going to take way too much damage, and he has Druddigon, which could come in, but he'd have to take a Fire Blast plus a Psychic, and that would, that would wear him down, even if he was specially defensive. And then I could sub in case he wants to glare or try to set up rocks, and it'll be a whole big thing. So we're gonna set up the Calm Mind. He does in fact try to make the prediction of Seismitoad, and he's not gonna get much HP back from that. And now I'm just gonna fire off a Fire Blast, which should take this thing out, which it does. So Electros is going down. This Delphox set has been putting in so much work. Oh my goodness, I love this set. I love this set. I didn't even give it a proper substitute health number or HP number because I never edited the EVs after switching the set. But it's been putting in so much work. I was not expecting that because it was just kind of a spur of the moment thing. But I'm loving it. I'm going to go for the substitute here as he actually goes for Shadow Sneak and gets a critical hit. What did I have? Like 90% of my health or something? Yeah, that may have mattered. The reason I went for substitute there was to possibly try to dodge a Sucker Punch. I don't know if Shadow Sneak would have killed. I mean, its Stab and Mega Bayonet is quite powerful, has a lot of attack, and Delphox is really not too bulky on the physical side, so I don't know if that mattered. It may have. I may have survived with a sliver of HP. I mean, it really wouldn't have mattered because I wasn't going for an attacking move. And if I did survive, I don't think I would have survived with enough HP to be able to substitute anyway. So that just saved him a turn. I'm going to expect him to switch here and go for Pursuit, and he does just that. So Mega Bayonet is gone, which means we do not have to worry about any Destiny Bond shenanigans or Will-O-Wisp shenanigans. So he's going to go right out into his Exploud. I don't need this Skuntank for anything at this point. So I'm just going to Sucker Punch for damage. I should be able to take a Boom Burst too. Ooh, just barely with 5% remaining. So if I get another turn of Sucker Punch damage off, I should be able to finish him off with Dugtrio for sure. But he's actually going to predict that and go right into his Girder. And now he's going to try to bulk up, so I'm going to taunt you. He's not going to go for Mach Punch because I don't think that'll kill from there. So I'm going to taunt you. I'm not having you set up right now. Yep, he does try to go for the bulk up. We get some more Black Sludge recovery. I could really just sacrifice this thing and get a safe switch into my Reuniclus, because once I do that, something dies. He has no switch-ins. It's just a matter of what I want to sack. Could be Dugtrio, honestly. Looking at his team, Dugtrio doesn't do a whole lot for me. Actually, Seismitoad does even less, because it's not going to take on that Druddigon very well if it's specially defensive, other than, Toxicking it or something. But he's just going to go for Drain Punch. That really doesn't do that much, less than 30%. And what I can do is throw up a Stealth Rock here to hamper that Noivern just a bit, because every little bit counts. So he's going to go for the knockoff to get rid of my lefties, and now he will bulk up, and now it's a matter of whether or not I want to give him the boost in, Guts by Toxicking him and getting some extra damage. I don't think it's going to matter, though, because even if he gets to +1, knockoff is not going to kill Reuniclus because it's a non-stab move. So I'm going to go back into my Skuntank here. I will taunt him if he wants to, try to bulk up more. He's just going to Mach Punch, and that actually kills. He does get hurt by the Aftermath, which is nice. And now we can just go right into Reuniclus. I mean, I could probably go into Audino too, although I don't know. If he has Poison Jab and he gets a couple of boosts up, that could be potentially scary. I think I'm going to go into Reuniclus because that applies some definite offensive pressure. He really has no switch-ins, and that's going to actually pressure him to just go for the knockoff here to get as much damage as possible, and I can Regenerator that off and then not be locked into a move. Oh, just kidding! He's going to get a critical hit and take me out. I hope that doesn't cost me the game, and it just might. Wow. Wow, yeah, there's been some definite hacks on both sides because I did get the critical hit on his Electros, which allowed me to take it out in, you know, one extra hit, or one less hit, I suppose. But still, yeah, that was a real game changer, I think. I mean, unless Audino just comes through and destroys this Girder right now. But, wow, that did 52%! Maybe I shouldn't have said what I did in the chat about this being a game changer, because I outspeed this thing, and Dazzling Gleam does 52%? Really? He's got a Mach Punch for damage, and that really doesn't do much. I mean, that was really his only play at that point. His team gets destroyed by Mega Audino now. I mean, what are you going to do? Go into your X-Cloud, I guess? Noivern and Druddigon both lose to Audino. So he's going to go into the Noivern here, and I can Wish on you. Yeah, I'm not worried. Even if he had, even if he was Choice Specs with Hurricane, he wasn't going to take me out in one hit from there, I don't think. So I would have been able to get a Wish off, and it turns out he just has Air Slash. I survive with 6 HP, or 6%, and I think what I'm going to do is Wish Protect to put myself in a good position against the Druddigon, and then when he comes out with the X-Cloud, I will sacrifice Seismitoad and then use Doug to Earthquake it, because I'm almost positive that that thing is Choice Specs, judging by how much damage it did to Skuntank earlier. So that is the course of action, or plan of action, I should say. As unfortunately for him, he's going to miss the Air Slash, so there's some more hacks right there. And I'm surprised he didn't get a flinch, because he Air Slashed me, what, 5 times? Maybe less than that, because I protected one of them. But anyway, he goes out into his X-Cloud here, and I'm at 100%. I could survive a hit, but I don't think Dazzling Gleam's going to take out this X-Cloud from there. I am relatively certain that Doug Trio should be able to take it out with an Earthquake, though. So what I'm going to do is go right into Seismitoad, sacrifice that to a Boom Burst, because I don't need it. It doesn't really help me against Druddigon, especially because I don't have Recovery. So we'll go right into Doug Trio here, go for an Earthquake. X-Cloud is gone. Yeah, that was most definitely Choice Specs, and now he's going to go into his Druddigon, and we should be able to take care of that with an Earthquake and a Dazzling Gleam or two. But he's actually going to forfeit, so that's going to be it. And that's how we're going to end this session. And I'm actually very happy that I was able to get in all 3 parts, because it looked like I wasn't going to be able to, you know, have the time to sit down and record this entire session. But I hope that it tickled the fancy of whoever was suggesting it. And of course, if you have any suggestions for what you would like to see next time, you can put that down in the comment section below. If you guys enjoyed this video and this session, you feel free to leave a like as well. And I will see you all next time. And until then, game on.